welcome to the EPAC Performing Arts Center. Our show is about to begin. As a courtesy to the rest of the audience and the performers, please take this opportunity to turn off any pagers or cell phones. Also, because of the copyright restrictions, photography of any kind, as well as video and audio taping of the performance, is not allowed. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please be aware that emergency exits are located to the front and right of the stage, as well as the doors you entered. Thank you for coming. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Have care. Damage report.
I pray now, keep below.
Damage report, Gonzalo.
Nay, good, be patient. And remember whom thou hast aboard.
None that I love more than myself. You are counselor. If you can command these elements to silence and make peace to the present, use your authority. If not, give thanks you have lived so long and make ready in your cabin for the hour of mischance, if so happen.
Every comfort from the sorrow. Methinks he hath no drowning mark upon him for his clutch and cursed gallows. Stand fast, good stage, who is hanging? Be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable.
Down with warp drive! Yar! Lower! Lower! A plague upon this howling! What do you hear? Howard, joke, don't you have a mind? No. A box in your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, uncharitable storm!
Work you then!
Hang, cur, hang, you whoresome, insolent noise maker! We are less afraid to drown than thou art.
I'll warn him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell.
Thrust our mouths be cold!
This last starship at prayers! Let's assist them, for our cases is theirs!
I'm out of patience!
We are really cheated of our lives by asteroids.
Oh, mercy on us!
We split! We split!
Farewell, my wife and daughter! Farewell, brother! Oh, we split! We split! We split!
Let's all sink with the king!
Let's take leave of him!
Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sky and for an acre of bare ground! Long heath, brown furs, anything! The will's above be done!
My dearest mother, you have put the wild waters in this roar. Allay them. The sky, it seems, would pour down stinking pitch, but that the sea, mounting to the welkin's cheek, dashes the fire out. Oh, I have suffered, with those who I saw suffer. A brave vessel, who had no doubt some noble creatures in her, dashed all to pieces. Oh, the poor souls, they perished.
Be collected, no more amazement. Tell your piteous heart, no harm's done.
Oh, woe the day.
No harm. I have done nothing but in care of thee, my dear one, thee, my daughter, who art ignorant of what thou art, not knowing of whence I am, nor that I'm more better than Prospera, mistress of this full poor cell, and thy no greater father. 'Tis time I should inform thee farther. Lend thy hand, pluck my magic garment from me. So. Wipe thou thine eyes, have comfort. The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee, I have with such provision in mine art, so safely ordered that no soul, no, not so much perdition as an hair betide to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardest cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, thou must now know farther.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped, leaving me to bootless inquisition, concluding stay, not yet.
The hour's come. The very minute bids thee ope thine ear, obey, and be attentive. Canst thou remember a time before we came unto this cell? I do not think thou canst, for then thou wast not out 3 years old.
Certainly, madam, I can. 'Tis far off, and rather like a dream than an assurance my remembrance warrants. Had I not 4 or 5 women once who tended me?
Thou didst, Miranda, but how is it that this lives in thy mind? If thou rememberest aught ere thou camest here, how thou camest here thou mayest.
But that I do not.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since, thy mother was Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
Madam, are you not my mother?
Thy father was a piece of virtue, and he said thou wast my daughter. And thy mother was the Duke of Milan, and thou her only heir.
Oh, the heavens! What foul play had we that we came from thence? Or blessed wast we did?
Both, my girl. By foul play, as thou sayest, we were heaved thence, but blessedly pulled hither.
Oh, my heart bleeds to think of the teen that I have turned you to, which is from my remembrance. Please you, farther?
My brother and thy uncle called Antonio. I pray thee, mark me, that our brother be so perfidious. He who next thyself I loved in all the world, and to him put the manage of my state. For then the liberal arts were all my study. Thus the government I cast upon my brother, and grew stranger to my state, being transported and wrapped in secret studies. Thy false uncle. Dost thou attend me?
Madam, most heedfully.
Thy false uncle, having the key of officer and office, set all hearts I the state to what tune pleased his ear. In my false brother awaked an evil nature. He did believe he was indeed the Duke, and me, poor woman, my library was dukedom large enough. Dost thou hear?
Your tale, madam, would cure deafness.
The King of Naples, being an enemy to me and veteran, hearkens my brother's suit, which was that in lieu of all premises of homage, and I know not how much tribute, should presently extirpate me and mine out of the dukedom, and confer fair Milan with all its honors upon my brother. Therein a treacherous army levied. One midnight, being fated to the purpose, did Antonio open the gates of Milan, and the ministers to the purpose hurried me thence and thy crying self.
Alack for mercy! I, not remembering how I cried out then, will cry it o'er again.
In few they hurried us aboard a bark, bore us some leagues to space, and there prepared us of a ship. Not rigged, nor sail, tackle, mast, the very rats instinctively had quit it. There they hoist us, to cry to the stars that roared at us, to sigh to the winds whose pity sighing back again did us but loving wrong.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine. Some food we had, and some fresh water, that a noble Neapolitan, Gonzala, out of her charity, being then assigned master of this design, did give us, with rich garments, linens, stuffs, and necessaries, which have since steadied us much. In her gentleness, knowing that I loved my books, she did furnish me from mine own library with volumes I prize above my dukedom.
I would I might but ever see that lady. And now, I pray you, madam, for still 'tis beating in my mind your reason for raising this sea store.
No far forth. by accident most strange, bountiful fortune, now, my dear lady, has mine enemies brought to this shore. And in my prescience, I find that my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star, whose influence, if I court not but omit, my fortunes will ever after droop. Cease now with more questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness. Give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, servant. Come, I am ready now. Come, my Arthriel, approach.
All hail, great mistress, grave madam, hail. We come to answer thy best pleasure, be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on the curled clouds. To thy strong bidding, task Arthriel in and all their quality.
Spirit, hast thou performed to point the tempest that I bade thee?
To every article. We boarded the king's ship, now on the beak, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin we flamed amazement. Sometime I did divide and burn in many places. In the warp drive and the computer did I burn distinctly, then meet and join.
Jove's lightnings, the precursors or the dreadful thunderclaps, more momentary and sight outrunning were not. The fire and cracks of sulphurous roaring, the most mighty Neptune seemed to beseech and make his bold waves tremble, yea, his dread trident shake.
My brave spirit, who was so firm, so constant, that this coil would not infect his reason?
Not a soul, but felt a fever of the mad and played some tricks of desperation. All but officers leapt into the atmosphere and quit the vessel, then all afire with me. Ferdinand, the king's son, was the first man that leapt, with hair upstaring them like reeds, and cried, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here!"
That's my spirit. But was not this nigh shore?
Nearby,
And are they, Arthriel, safe?
not a hair perished.
Of the king's ship, the officers, say how didst thou dispose and all the rest of the fleet?
Safely in orbit is the king's ship, in the deep nook where once thou holdest us up at midnight to fetch dew from the still vexed Bermudes. There she's hid, officers all under hatches stowed, who, with a charm joined in their suffered labors, we have left asleep. And for the rest of the fleet which I dispersed, they all have met again and are now upon the intergalactic float, bound sadly home for Naples, supposing that they have seen the king's ship wrecked and his great person perish.
Arthriel, thy charge exactly is performed. But there is more work.
Is there more toil? Since thou dost give us pains, let us remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed us.
How now, Moody? What is't thou canst demand?
Our liberty.
Before the time be out, no more!
I prithee, remember, we have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without grudge or grumblings. Thou didst promise to bait us a full year.
Dost thou forget from what torment I did free thee?
No, mistress.
Thou liest, malignant thing! Hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who in her age and envy was grown into a hoop? Hast thou forgot her?
I have not, mistress.
Thou hast. This blue-eyed hag was hither brought with child, and left here by the sailors. And thou, my slave, as thou reportest thyself, was then her servant. And thou, being a spirit too delicate to act her earthy and abhorred commands, refused using her gran'hess, she did confine thee by the help of her more potent ministers and in her most unmitigable rage into a cloven pine, within which rift imprisoned thou didst painfully remain 12 years, within which space she died and left thee there, where thou didst vent thy groans as fast as mill wheels strike. Then was this planet, save for the sun she did litter here, freckled whelp, hag-born, not honored with a human shape.
Yes, Caliban, her son.
Dull thing I say that, Caliban, whom now I keep in service. Thou best knowest from what torment I did bind thee. Thy groans did make the wolves howl and penetrate the breasts of ever-angry bears. It was mine art, when I arrived and heard thee, that made gape the pine and let thee free.
I thank thee, madam. Pardon, mistress, pardon. I shall be correspondent to command and do our spiriting gently.
Do so. And after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what? What shall we do?
Make thyself like a nymph of the sky, subject to no sight but thine and mine, invisible to every eyeball else. Go take this shape, and hither come and go, hence with diligence. Awake, dear heart, awake. Thou hast slept well, awake.
The strangeness of your story put a heaviness in me.
Shake it off. Come, we'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
'Tis a villain, ma'am, I do not love to look on.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him. He does bring in our wood, make our fire, and serve in offices that profit us. What? Ho! Slave! Caliban! Come forth, I say! There's more business for thee! Come, thy cyborg, when?
As wicked do as am my mother brushed with raven's feather from unwholesome fen, drop on you both. Southwest blow on ya and blister ya all.
For this be sure, tonight thou shalt have cramps as thick as honeycomb, each pinch more stinging than the bees that made 'em.
This planet's mine, by Sycorax my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and madest much of me, gave me water with berries in it, taught me to name the bigger light and the less that burn by day and night. And I loved thee and showed thee all the qualities of the planet. Cursed be I that did so. Oh, Sycorax, Beetle's back toes light on you!
Thy most lying slave, whom stripes may move, not kindness. I have used thee, foul as thou art, with human care, and lodged thee in mine own cell, until thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
Who has that been done? Thou hast prevented me. I'd have peopled else this planet with Caliban.
A poor slave, which any prince of goodness will not take, being capable of all ill. I pitied thee, took pains to make thee speak, taught thee each hour one thing or other, when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning, but wouldst gabble like a thing most brutish. I endowed thy purposes with the words which made them known.
You taught me language, and my profit on it is I know how to curse. The red plague rid you both for learning me your language.
Hag seed hence, thou best fetch our fuel and be quick. Thou art best to answer to other business. Shruggest thy malice, if thou neglectest, or dost unwilling what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at thy din.
No, pray thee. I must obey. Her heart is of such power, and control my damned god Tempest, and make a vassal of him.
So, slave, hence!
Unto these yellow sands, and then take hands. Curtsied when you have and kissed the wild waves waste. Wooded fealty here and there, and sweet sprites the burthen bear. Hark, hark, I hear the strain of strutting chanticleer cry, cock-a-doodle-dow.
Where should this music be? I, the air, or the earth. This music comes by me upon the waters, allaying both their fury and my passion with its sweet air. Thence I had followed it, or rather it hath drawn me, but 'tis gone. No, begins again.
Full fathom 5 thy father lies, of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade. But to suffer us he change into something rich and strange. See nymphs hourly ring his knell, ding dong, ding dong bell.
The ditty does remember my drowned father. This is no mortal business, nor no sound that the earth owes. I hear it now, above me.
The fringed curtains of thine eyne advance, and say what thou seest yond.
What is it? A spirit.
No, child. It eats and sleeps and has such senses as we have such. This gallant which thou seest was in the wreck. And what he's something stained with grief that's beauty's canker, thou mightest call him a goodly person. He has lost his fellows and strays about to find them.
I might call him a thing divine. Nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on, I see. Spirit, fine spirit, I'll set thee free within 2 days for this.
Oh, most sure the goddess on whom these airs attend, my prime request, which I do last pronounce is, oh, you wonder if you be a maid or no. No wonder, sir, but certainly a maid. My language, heavens, I am the best of them that speak this speech.
How the best? What wert thou if the king of Naples heard thee?
A single thing as I am now, that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does, I weep. Myself am Naples, who with mine eyes never since that ebb beheld the king my father wrecked. Alack for mercy, yes, faith in all his lords, the Duke of Milan and his brave son being twain.
The Duke of Milan and his more braver son could control thee if now were fit to do it. Delicate AR3L, I'll set thee free for this. A word, good sir. I fear you have done yourself some wrong. A word.
Why speaks my mother so ungently? This is the second man that e'er I saw, the first ere I sighed for. Pity move my mother to be inclined my way. If your affection's not gone forth, I'll make you the Queen of Naples.
They are both in either spell. But This swift business I must uneasy make, lest too light winning make the prize light. One word more, I charge thee that thou attend me. Thou dost usurp the name thou owest not, and hast placed thyself on this planet as a spy to win it from me, the Lord on it.
No. If the ill spirit have so fair a house, good things will strive to dwell with it.
Do not you speak for him. He's a traitor. Come, I'll manacle thy neck and feet together.
No! I will resist such entertainment till mine enemy has more power.
Oh, dear mother, make not too rash a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
Who makest a show and darest not strike? Thy conscience is so possessed of guilt. Come from thy ward, for I can here disarm thee with this staff and make thy weapon drop.
Beseech you, mother.
Heads hang not from my garment.
Madam, have pity. I'll be his surety.
Thou thinkest there are no more such creatures as he, having seen but him and Caliban? Foolish child, to the most of men he is a Caliban, and to him they are angels.
My affections are then most humble. Ambition to see a goodlier man.
My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. The weakness which I feel, my father's loss, the wreck of all my friends, nor this lady's threats to whom I am subdued are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid. Let liberty make use of space enough, have I in such a prison.
It works. Hark, what else thou can do for me?
Be of comfort, sir. My mother's of a better nature than she appears by speech. This is unwanted, which now came from her.
Thou shalt be free as mountain winds, but then exactly do all points of my command.
To the syllable.
Come along. Do not you speak for him.
Beseech you, sir, be merry. You have cause, as do we all for joy. Our escape is much beyond our loss. Every day some sailor's wife, the masters of some merchant, and the merchant all share our hint of woe. But for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort.
Prithee, peace. He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him or so.
Look, she's winding up the watch of her wit. By and by it will strike.
Sir,
One. Tell.
when every grief is entertained that's offered, comes to the entertainer,
$1.
the lure comes to him indeed. You've spoken truer than you've purposed.
You have taken it wiselier than I meant you should.
Therefore, my lord,
Fie, what a spendthrift is she of her tongue.
I spare. Prithee.
the air breathes upon us here most sweetly.
As if it had lungs, and rotten ones.
Or as 'twere perfumed by a fen.
But here is everything advantageous to life.
True, save means to live.
Of that there's none, or little.
How lush and lusty the grass looks. How green.
The ground indeed is tawny.
With an eye of green in it.
But the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit,
As many vouched rarities are.
that our garments, being as they were drenched by the sea, hold notwithstanding their freshness and glosses, but being rather new dyed and stained by salt water. Methinks our garments are as fresh as the day we first put them on in Africa, at the marriage of the king's fair daughter Claribel to the king of Tunis.
'Twas a sweet marriage, and we prosper well in our return.
Is not, sir, my coat as fresh as the day I first wore it? I mean, in a sort.
That sort was well fished for.
On the day of your daughter's marriage.
You cram these words into my ears against the stomach of my sense. If I had never married my daughter there, then my son is lost. And in my rage, she too. I shall never see her again. Thou, mine heir of Naples and Milan, what strange fish has made their meal on thee?
Sir, he may live. I saw him beat the surges under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water to shore, that o'er his wave-worn basis bowed, as stooping to relieve him, I no doubt he came alive to land.
No, no, he is gone. Prithee, peace.
We have lost your son. I fear forever. Milan and Naples have more widows in them of this business making than we bring men to comfort them. The fault's your own.
My Lord Sebastian, the truth you speak doth lack gentleness and time to speak it in. You rub the sore when you should break the plaster.
Very well.
It is foul weather in us all, sir, when you are cloudy.
Foul weather? Very foul.
These gentlemen are of such sensible and nimble lungs that they laugh at nothing.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Who in this kind of merry fooling am nothing to you, so you may continue to laugh at nothing still.
What a blow was there given.
You are gentlemen of brave metal, yet you would lift the moon out of her sphere if she were to continue in it 5 weeks without changing.
We would so, and then go a-bat fouling.
Nay, good my lady, be not angry.
No, I'll warrant you, for I will not adventure my discretion so weakly. But will you laugh me to sleep? For I am very heavy.
She's so soon asleep? I wish my eyes would shut up my thoughts. And I feel that they are inclined to do so.
Please, sir, do not omit the heavy offer of it. It seldom visits sorrow, and when it doth, it is a comforter.
We too, my lord, will guard your person and watch your rest while your safety while you take your rest.
Thank you. Wondrous heavy.
What strange drowsiness possesses them?
Oh, it is the quality of the climate.
Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They fell together as if by consent. They dropped as if by a thunderstroke. Oh, what might, worthy Sebastian, oh, what might. No more, yet methinks I see it in thine face. What thou shouldest be, the occasion speaks thee, and my strong imagination sees a crown dropping upon thine head.
What? Art thou waking?
Do you not hear me speak?
I do, and surely it is a sleepy language, and thou speakest out of thy sleep. Thou dost snore distinctly. There's meaning in thy snores.
I'm more serious now than my custom. You must be so too, if heed me, wish to do, trebles the oar.
Well, I am standing water.
I'll teach you how to flow.
Prithee, say on.
Although this lord of weak remembrance, this who shall be of as little memory as when he's earthed, here hath almost persuade, for he's a spirit of persuasion, only professes to persuade. The king, his son's alive, 'tis as impossible that he's undrowned. And he that sleeps here swims.
I have no hope that he's undrowned.
Out of that no hope, what hope have you? Will you grant me that Ferdinand is drowned?
He's gone.
Then tell me, who is the next heir of Naples?
Clarabelle.
She that is Queen of Tunis. She that dwells 10 leagues beyond man's life.
What stuff is this? 'Tis true my brother's daughter's Queen of Tunis. So is she heir of Naples. Twixt which regions there is some space.
A space whose every cubit seems to cry out, Clarabelle, keep in Tunis, and let Sebastian wake. Say this were death that now hath seized them, for they were no worse then than now they are. Here be that can rule Naples, as well as he that sleeps. Oh, that you bore a mind that I do. What a sleep were this for your advancement. Do you understand me?
Methinks I do.
And how does your content tender your own good fortune?
I remember, you did supplant your sister Prospera.
True! And look how well my garments sit upon me. Much feeter than before. My sister's servants were then my fellows. Now, they are mine.
But for your conscience.
Aye, sir, where lies that? Here lies your brother, no better than the ground he lies upon. If he were that which now he's like, that's dead, I, with this obedient steel, 3 inches of it, may put to bed forever, whilst you, doing thus, to the perpetual wing, for I might put this ancient morsel, this Sir Prudence, who should not upbraid our course. For all the others, they'll take the suggestion as a cat laps milk. They'll tell the clock to whichever business we say befits the hour.
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou gottest Milan, I'll come by Naples. With thy weapon, one shot shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together, and when I rear my hand, do you the like to fall it upon Gonzalo.
Oh, but one word.
My mistress, through her art, foresees the danger that you, her friend, are in, and sends me forth, or else her project dies, to keep them living.
While you hear the snoring lie of a night conspiracy, his time doth take. If for life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake.
Then let us both be summoned.
Now good angels preserve the king!
Ho, awake! Why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly sight?
What's the matter?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now we heard a hollow burst of bellowing, like bulls or rather lions. Did it not wake you? It struck mine ear most terribly.
I heard nothing.
Oh, 'twas a din to fright a monster's ear, to make an earthquake. Surely it was the roar of a whole herd of lions.
Heard you this, Gonzalo?
Upon mine honor, sir, I heard a humming, and that a strange one too, which did wake me. I opened my eyes, and I saw their weapons drawn. 'Tis best we stand upon our guard, or that we quit this place.
Lead off this ground, and let's continue my search for my poor son.
Heavens keep him from these beasts, for he is sure I the planet.
Lead off.
Prospera, my mistress, shall know what we have done. Now, king, go safely on to seek thy son.
all the infections that the sun sucks up, from bogs, fens, flats, on Prospera fall, and make her by Ishmael a disease. Her spirits hear me, yet I needs must curse. But they'll nor pinch me, nor leave me like a firebrand in the dark, out of my way unless she bid 'em. For every trifle they are set upon me, I feel their prick at my footfall. Sometime am I all wound with adders who with cloven tongues do hiss me into madness. Lo, here comes the spirit of her to torment me for bringing wood in slowly. I'll fall flat, perchance he will not mind me.
Here is neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm is brewing. If it should thunder as it did before, I'll know not where to hide my head. What have we here? A man? Or a fish? Dead or alive? Ugh, a fish. He smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of knot of the newest Port John. A strange fish. Were I in England now as once I was and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there would give but a piece of silver. There would this creature make a man. Any strange creature there makes a man. Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine, for there is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows. I will here shroud till the dregs of the storm be past.
I shall no more to space, to space. Here shall I die ashore. This is a scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Well, here's my comfort. The master, the swabber, the boatswain, and I loved Moll and Meg and Marion and Marjorie, but none of us cared for Kate. For she had a tongue with a tang, would cry to a sailor, "Go hang!" She loved not the savor of tar nor of pitch, yet a tailor may scratch her where'er she did itch. This is a scurvy tune too, but here's my comfort. Have we devils here? Why, I have not escaped drowning now to be afeard of your 4 legs.
Do not torment me!
Where the devil should you learn our language? Why, if I can recover him and keep him tame and get to Naples with him, why, he's a present for any emperor that ever trod on neat's leather.
Do not torment me, I pray thee. I'll bring my wood home faster.
He's in his fit now and does not talk after the wisest. He shall taste of my bottle, though. If he have never drunk wine afore, it shall go near to remove his fit.
Thou dost me yet but little hurt, thou wilt anon. I know it by thy trembling. Prosper works upon thee.
Oh, come on your ways. Open your mouth. This is that which will give a language to you, cat. Come, open your mouth. I can tell you in that soundly. You cannot tell who's your friend. Come, open your chaps again.
I should know this voice. It should be... But he is drowned, and these are devils. Oh, defend me.
4 legs and 2 voices. A most delicate monster. His forward voice is to speak well of his friend. His backward voice is to utter foul speeches and to detract. Come, amen. I'll pour some in thy other mouth. Dost thou call me? Mercy, mercy. This is a devil and no monster.
Stefano, if thou be a Stefano, touch me and speak to me, for I am Trinculo. Be not afeard, thy good friend, Trinculo.
If thou beest Trinculo, come forth. I'll pull thee by the lesser legs. Why, if any be Trinculo's legs, oh, these are they. Thou art very Trinculo indeed! How now? How camest to be the siege of this moon calf?
I took you to be killed by a thunderstroke, but art thou not drowned, Stefano? Is the storm overblown? I hid under the dead mooncalf's gabardine for fear of the storm, but art thou living? Oh, Stefano, 2 Neapolitans escaped. Well, 2.5.
Prithee, do not turn me about. My stomach is not constant.
These be fine things, if they be not spirits. That's a brave God, and bear celestial liquor.
How didst thou escape? Swear by this bottle then how thou escapest. I escaped upon a butt of sack, which was thrown overboard by the sailors. Now by this bottle, which I made by my own hand since I was cast ashore from the bark of a tree.
I'll swear by that bottle to be thy true subject.
Here. Swear then how thou escapest.
Ah, swim ashore, man, like quack, 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 quack. Like a duck. I can swim like a duck. I'll be sworn.
Here. Kiss the book. Though thou canst swim like a duck, thou art made like a goose.
Oh, Stefano, hast any more of this?
The whole butt, man. Why, there's a cellar in the rock by the seaside where my wine is hid. How now, mooncalf? How dost thine ague?
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Out of the moon I do assure thee. I was the man in the moon when time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee.
Come then, kiss the book.
I'll show thee every fertile inch of this planet. I will kiss thy foot, I prithee, be my God.
Come on then, down and swear.
I shall laugh myself to death at this puppy-headed monster. A most scurvy monster. I could find it in my heart to beat him.
Come, kiss.
But the poor monster is in drink. An abominable monster.
I'll show thee the thirsty springs. I'll pluck thee berries and fish for thee. I'll get thee wood enough. A plague on the tyrant I serve. I'll bear her no more sticks. Serve thee, thou wondrous man.
A most ridiculous monster. To make a wonder of a poor drunkard.
I'll show thee where the fresh crabs grow, and I with my long nails will dig thee pig nuts. Show thee a jay's nest, and how to snare the nimble marmoset. I'll catch the young scamels from the rock. Wilt thou go with me?
Prithee, lead the way now, without any more talking. Trinculo, the king, and else our company being drowned, we shall inherit here. Here, bear my bottle. We shall fill it by and by again.
Farewell, master, farewell, farewell. No more dams I'll make for fishing, nor in fire and fetch requiring, nor scrape a trench, nor wash a din. Bad, Caliban! Get a new master, get a new man!
Go, brave monster, lead the way!
My mean task would be as heavy to me as odious. But the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead, and makes my labors pleasures. Oh, she is 10 times more gentle than her mother's crab, and she's composed of harshness. I must remove some thousands of these logs, and pile them up upon a sore injunction. My sweet mistress weeps when she sees me work, and says such baseness had never like executor. I forget. But these sweet thoughts do even refresh my labors. Most busy less when I do it. Alas now, pray you, work not so hard. I would the lightning had burnt up that log that you are enjoined to pile. Oh, most dear mistress, the sun will set before I shall discharge what I must strive to do. If you'll sit down, I'll bear your log the while. Pray give me that. I'll carry it to the pile. No, precious creature, I would rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as it does you, and I should do it with much more ease. For my good will is to it, and yours it is against.
Poor worm, thou art infected, as this visitation shows it.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning when you are by at night, I do beseech you, chiefly, that I might set in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, the top of my admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed in the best regard, and many a time the harmony of their tongue hath into bondage brought my too diligent ear. For several birds.
I don't know. I am skillless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape, besides yourself, to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my mother's precepts I therein do forget.
I am in my condition a prince, Miranda. I do think a king. And I would not so, and would no more endure this wooden slavery than to suffer the flesh fly blow my mouth. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it. So for your sake, I am this patient log man.
Do you love me?
O heaven, O earth, bear witness to the sound and crown what I profess with kind event. If I speak true, if hollowly invert what best is boded me to mischief, I beyond all limit of what else do love, prize, and honor you.
Oh, I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two such rare affections. Heavens rain down on that which breeds between them.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness, that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence, bashful cunning, who prompt me plain and holy innocence. I am your wife, if you will marry me. If not, I will die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
O most mistress dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, with a heart as willing, ere bondage of freedom, here's my hand.
And mine, with all my heart in it. And now, farewell, till half hour hence.
1,000. 1,000.
As glad as they I cannot be, who are surprised withal that my rejoicing at nothing can be more. I'll to my book, for ere yet supper time, much business appertaining.
Tell not me when the butt is out. We will drink water, not a drop before. Therefore, bear up. And boredom, servant monster, drink to me.
Servant monster? The folly of this planet. They say there are but 5 upon this planet. We are 3. 3.5. If the others be brained like us, the state totters.
Servant monster, drink when I bid thee. Thy eyes are almost set in thy head.
Where should they be set else? He'd be a very brave monster indeed if they be set in his tail.
My man-monster hath drowned his tongue in sack. For my part, the sea cannot drown me. I swam ere I could recover the shore 35 leagues off and on. By this light, thou shalt be my lieutenant, monster, or my standard.
Your lieutenant? If you list, he's no standard.
Mooncalf, speak once in thy life, if thou beest a good mooncalf.
How dost thy honor? Let me lick thy shoe. I'll not serve him. He's not valiant.
Thou liest, most ignorant monster. I am in case to jostle a constable. Thy most debauched fish thou, was there ever a man or coward who hath drunk as much sack as I today? Wilt thou tell a monstrous lie, being but half fish and half monster?
Lo, how he mocks me! Wilt thou let him, my lord?
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in thy head. Why, if you prove yourself a mutineer, the next tree, the poor monster's my subject and shall not suffer your indignity.
I thank my noble master. Wilt thou be pleased to hearken once again to the plea I made to thee?
Marry, will I kneel and repeat it? I will stand, and so shall Trinculo.
As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, that by her cunning hath cheated me of this planet.
Thou liest.
Thou liest, thou jesting monkey, thou! I would my valiant master would destroy thee. I do not lie.
Trinculo, interrupt the monster one word further, and well, by this hand I shall supplant some of your teeth.
Why? I've said nothing.
I say, by her cunning she hath got this planet. But if thou greatness would revenge it on her, for I know thou darest, though this thing dare not.
That's most certain.
It would be thine.
Well, how now shall this be compassed? Canst thou bring me to the party?
Yea, my lord. I'll yield her thee asleep. There thou mayest knock a nail into her head.
Thou liest. Thou canst not.
Thou liest, thou scurvy patch! I beseech my greatness, give him blows, and take his drink from him. When that's gone, he'll drink not but brine, for I'll not show him where the quick freshes are.
Trinculo, run into no further danger. Why, trouble him any more in his tale, and by this hand I'll make my mercy out of doors and make a stockfish of thee.
Why? What did I? I've done nothing. I'll stand farther off.
Didst thou not say he lied?
Thou liest.
Oh, did I so? Take thou that! And as you like this, give me the lie another time.
I did not give you the lie. What, out of your wits and bearing too? A pox of your bottle, this here can sack and drinking do. A murrain on your monster, and the devil take your fingers.
Now, forward with your tale. Prithee, stand farther off. Farther. Farther. Excellent.
As I told thee before, 'tis a custom in the afternoon with her to sleep. There they may sprain her, having first seized her books, or batter her skull with a log, or paunch her with a stake, or cut her with thy knife. Remember first to possess her books, for without them she's but a sot, as I am, and hath not one spirit to command. Burn but her books.
Monster, I will kill this one, Why, her daughter and I shall be king and queen, save our graces, and thyself and Trinculo shall be viceroys. Dost thou like the plot, Trinculo? Excellent. Give me thy hand. I am sorry I beat thee, but while thou livest, keep a good tongue in thy head.
Within this half hour will she be asleep. Wilt thou destroy her then?
Aye. On mine honor.
This shall I tell our mistress.
Thou makest me so merry. I am full of pleasure.
Lead, monster. We'll follow. We'll follow.
I can go no further. My bones ache. By your patience, I needs much rest.
I cannot blame thee, for whom myself is attached with weariness. To the dulling of my spirits, sit down and relax. I will give up hope for my flatterer. He is drowned for thus whom we seek to find. And the sea mocks our search on land. We'll let him go.
I'm right glad that he's so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forego the purpose you resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take through thee.
Let it be tonight, for they are pressed with travel. They will not, nor cannot, use such vigilance as when they are fresh.
I say tonight, no more.
Destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is on it, the never-surfeited sea, hath caused to belch out you. And on this planet where man doth not inhabit, you, being amongst men, most unfit to live, we have made you mad. Even with such like valor, men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your arms are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with bemocked at blasts, kill the still closing water, as diminish one dowel that's in my gloom. My fellows and I are as invulnerable. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Millen did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the void which hath requited she and her innocent child, for which foul deed the powers delaying, not forgetting, having sent the skies, the land, yea, all the cosmos against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death could be at once, shall step by step attend you and your wings, against whose wrath to guard, and here on this most desolate sphere, all else which falls on your heads shall be nothing but heart sorrow. If you could hurt, your arms are now too massive for your strengths, and shall not be uplifted. And a clear life ensuing.
Aye, the name of something holy, sir. Why stand you in this strange stare?
What is monstrous monstrous. Methought the billows did speak to him, and the wind did sing, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ pipe, pronounced the name of Prospera. Thus, my son, the ooze is bedded, and I shall seek him deeper than ever plummet sounded.
But 1 feet at a time. I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
All three of them are desperate. Their great guilt, like poison given to work a great time after, now begins to bite the spirits. I do beseech you that are of suppler joints, follow them swiftly and hinder them from what this ecstasy may now provoke them to.
Bravely the figure of this harpy hast thou performed, my AR3L. My high charms work, and these mine enemies are all knit up in their distractions. They now are in my power. And in these fits, I leave them, while I visit young Ferdinand, whom they supposed is drowned, and his and my loved darling. If I have too austerely punished you, your compensation makes amends, for I have here given you 1/3 of my life, or that for which I live. Once again, I tender to thy hand. All of thy vexations were but my trials of thy love, and you have strangely stood the test here. Afore heaven, I ratify this my rich gift. Oh, Ferdinand, do not smile at me that I boast her on, for thou shalt find she will outstrip all praise and make it halt behind her.
I do believe it, against an oracle.
Well then, as mine gift and thine own acquisition worthily purchased, take my daughter. Sit then and visit with her. What, AR3L, my industrious servant, AR3L.
What would, potent master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellow your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. Go bring the rabble, or whom I give thee power, here to this place. Incite them to quick motion, for I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of mine art. It is my promise, and they expect it from me.
Presently.
I, with a twink.
I go.
Look you. Do not let dalliance have too much therein. The strongest oaths are but straw to the fire I the blood. Be more abstemious, or else good night your vow.
I warrant you, ma'am, the cold white virgin snow upon my heart abates the ardor of my liver.
Well then, come, my AR3L, bring a corollary. Rather than want a spirit, approach and pertly. No tongue, all eyes, be silent.
A contract of love to celebrate, and some donation freely to estate on the blessed lovers. Honor, riches, marriage, blessing, long continuance and increasing, hourly joys be still upon you. Spring come to you at the farthest, in the very end of harvest, scarcity and want shall shine you. Ceres' blessing so is on you.
This is a most majestic vision.
and Juno sings her blessings upon you, harmoniously, charmingly. May I be bold to thank these spirits?
Spirits, by mine art, I've called from their confines to enact my present fancies.
Oh, let me live here ever. So rare a wondered mother and a wife makes this place paradise.
I had forgot the foul conspiracy of that beast, Caliban, and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot draws near. Well done! Avoid no more!
This is strange. Your mother's in some sort of passion that works so strongly.
Never till this day saw I her touched with an anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a moved sort, as though you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended, and these our actors, as I foretold, are all spirits, and have melted into air, into thin air. And, like this baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the solemn temples, the golden palaces, the great globe itself, yea, all that it inherit shall dissolve. And, like this insubstantial pageant, fade, leave not a rack behind. I am vexed, sir. Bear with my weakness. My brain is troubled. Do not be dismayed by my infirmity. If you please, retire into my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish her peace.
Come, my Arthriel, with a thought I thank thee.
Thy thoughts we cleave to. What's thy pleasure?
Spirit, we must prepare to meet Caliban. Say again, where didst thou leave these varlets?
I told you, madam, they were red hot with drinking, so fond of valor that they smote the air for breathing in their faces, beat the ground for kissing of their feet, yet always bending towards their project. So I hummed my melodies, and like unbacked colts, they pricked their ears, uplifted their eyelids, and advanced their noses as they smelt music. So I charmed their ears, that calf-like my lowing they followed through toothed briars, sharp furzies, pricking goss and thorns which entered their frail shins. At last I left them in the filthy mantled pool beyond your cell, there dancing up to the chins that the filthy lake o'erstunk their feet.
Well done, my bird. Thy shape invisible retain thou still. The trumpery in my house, go bring it hither, for stale to catch these thieves.
I'll fetch them.
A devil, a born devil, on whose nature nurture can never stick, on whom my pains humanely taken, all lost, quite lost. And as with age his body uglier grows, so cankers his mind. I'll plague them all, even to roaring!
blind mole may not hear a footfall. We are now near her cell.
Monster, your fairy, which you say harmless fairy, has done little but played the jack with us.
My lord, give me thy favor still, for the chance I bring thee unto shall hoodwink this mischance.
Almost
midnight yet.
To lose our bottles in the pool.
There is not only disgrace and dishonor in that, monster, but an infinite loss.
That is worth more to me than my wetting. Yes. Here is your harmless berry, monster.
I shall fetch off my bottle, though. I be o'er ears for my labor.
Prithee, my king, be quiet. This is the mouth of the cell. Make no noise and enter. Now do that good mischief which may make this planet thine own forever, and I, thy Caliban, that humble servant.
Give me thy hand. I do begin to have bloody thoughts.
Oh, Stefano. Oh, worthy Stefano. Oh, peer.
Go charge my goblins to grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten their sinews with aged cramps, more pitch-spotted make 'em than cat or part a mountain.
Hark, they roar.
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour, all my enemies lie at my mercy. Shortly all my labors will end, and thou shalt have the air at freedom. For a little, follow and do me service. Now my project gathers to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. How goes the day?
Upon the 6th hour, at which time, my lady, you said our work should cease.
I did say so, when first I raised the Tempest. Say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers?
Confined together in the same order as you gave in charge, just as you left them, madam, all prisoners, in the line road which weather fends your cell. The king, his brother, and yours abide all three distracted, and cannot budge till you give your release. And the remainder mourning over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, ma'am, were I you.
And mine shall. Hast thou, who art but air, a touch, a feeling for their affliction? And shall not myself, one of their kind, who relish as sharply passion as they, be more kindlier moved than thou art? But chiefly, her that you termed madam, good Lady Gonzala. Her tears run down her face like winter's drops from eaves of reed. Thy charm works them so strongly that if you now beheld them, your affection would be tender. Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet my nobler reason gateth my fury. I do take part, the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. They being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth not extend around farther. Go, release them, AR3L. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves.
I'll fetch them then.
Graves at my command, wake the sleepers. Oh, and let 'em forth by my so potent art. But this rough magic I here abjure. And when I have required some heavenly music, which even now I do to work my end on their senses that this airy charm is for, I'll smash my staff, bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than sound ever plummeted, I'll drown my books. There stand, for you are spell-stopped. O noble Gonzala, holy madam, mine eyes, even sociable to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. O good Gonzala, my true preserver, I shall pay your graces home in both word and deed. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use my daughter and myself. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. Thou art pitchfork now, Sebastian. Flesh and blood, you, my brother, who entertained ambition and expelled remorse and nature, who with Sebastian, whose inward pinches are therefore most strong, would here have killed your king. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. Their senses begin to swell, and the approaching tide shall shortly fill the reasonable shore, which now lies foul and muddy. Not one of them yet, and would look upon me, would know me, my AR3L. Fetch me my royal garment from my cell. I will discase me and present myself as I was sometime Millen. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt be free ere long.
On the cowslip's bell I lie, there I couch when hounds do cry. On the bat's back I do fly, after summer merrily, merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs from the bough.
All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabit here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this beautiful country.
Behold, Sir King, the wrong Duke of Millen, Prospera. For more assurance that a living prince does speak to thee now, I shall embrace thy body. And I bid thee and thy company a hearty welcome.
Whether thou beest she or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, which late I have, I not know. Thy pulse beats of flesh and blood, and yet, since I have seen thee last, I fear a madness has held me. Thy dukedom I do resign, and I entreat that you pardon me my wrongs. But how is it that Prospera be living and be here?
First, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined.
Whether this be or be not, I'll not swear.
You yet taste some subtleties of this planet, which will not let you believe things certain. Welcome, friends, all. But you, my brace of lords, if I were so minded, I could here pluck down his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitors. At this time, I will tell no tales.
The devil speaks in her.
No! You most wicked, sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them. and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce I know you must restore.
If thou beest Prospera, give us particulars of your preservation. And how is it you have met us here, not less than 3 hours when we were wrecked upon the shore, and I lost... How sharp the point of the remembrance is. My dear son Ferdinand.
I am woe for it, sir, for I have lost my daughter.
A daughter? Oh heavens, that they both were living in Naples. I wish myself were mudded in the oozy bed where my son lies. When did you lose your daughter?
In this last tempest. I perceive these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason, and scarce think their eyes do offices of truth. Their words be natural breath, but howsoe'er you were justled from your senses, know for certain I am Prospera, and the very Duke which was thrust forth of Milan, and who strangely to this shore, where you were wrecked, was landed, to be the lord on it. This cell is my court. Here have I few attendants, and subjects none abroad. Pray you, look in. My dukedom you've since given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing. At least bring forth a wonder to content ye, as much as me, my dukedom.
Sweet lord, you play me false.
No, my dearest love, I would not for the world.
Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play.
If this prove a vision of the planet, one dear son shall I twice lost?
A most high miracle!
Though the skies threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause.
Oh, blessings of a glad father on thee. Arise, and tell us how thou camest here.
Oh, wonder! How many goodly creatures are there here? Oh, how beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world, with such people in it.
'Tis new to thee.
What is this maid that wast out play? Your acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. Is she the goddess that severed us, and thus brought us together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she is mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom I have so often heard renown, but never met before, of whom I have received a second life and second mother. This lady makes her to me.
Oh, how oddly this must sound, that I must ask my child forgiveness.
Let us not burthen our remembrance with a heaviness that's gone.
I have inly wept, and looked down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown. For it is you who have chalked forth the way that has brought us hither.
I say amen, Gonzalo. And let stress and sorrow embrace the heart of those who do not wish you both joy.
Be it so. Amen.
Ma'am, all this work have we done since we went?
My tricksy spirit.
Was it well done?
Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free.
What a strange maze meth hath ear. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge.
Sir, my liege, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. Be cheerful, and think well of each thing. Come hither, spirit. Set Caliban and his companions free. Untie the spell. How fares thee, my gracious lord? There are yet some of your company missing, some few odd lads that you remember not.
Every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care for himself, for all is but fortune.
If these be true spies which I wear in my head, here's a goodly sight.
That be a praise, spirit. How fine my master is. Though I fear she will chastise me.
What things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy them?
Very like. One of them is a plain fish, and no doubt marketable.
Mark but the badges of these men, my lords, and then speak true. This misshapen knave, his mother was a witch, one so strong she could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. These three have plotted to take my life. Two of them you must own and know. This thing of darkness, acknowledge mine.
That shall be pitched to death.
Is this not Stefano, my drunken butler?
He is drunk. Where had he wine?
And Trinculo, where hast thou got this grand liquor? And how you came in this pickle?
I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last. I fear me will not be out of my bones. I do not fear fly blowing.
Why, how now, Stefano?
Oh, touch me not. I am not Stefano, but a cramp.
You would be king of this planet, sirrah.
I should have been a sore one then.
And this is the strangest thing I have ever looked on.
He is disproportioned in manners as he is in shape. Go, sirrah, to my cell. Take with you your companions. As you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely.
I that shall, and hereafter seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I! Take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool!
Go to it. Away. Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my cell. Here you will take your rest for this one evening, which part of I'll waste with such discourse I not doubt will make it quick go away. The story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this planet. And in the morn, I'll bring you to your ship and so to Naples, where I hope to see the nuptial of our dear beloved solemnized. And thence retire me to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave.
I long to hear the story of your life. It must strange the ear.
I will give it all, and promise you auspicious winds, expeditious sail, and clear skies, so that you will catch your fleet far off. My AR3L, that is your charge. And then, to the elements, be free, and fare thou well. Please, draw near. And now all my charms are overthrown. And what strength I have's mine own, which is most faint now, 'tis true. I must here be confined by you, or sent to Naples. Let me not. For since my dukedom got, and pardon the deceiver, dwell here in this bare planet by your spell. But release me from my bands, with the help of your good hands. Your gentle breasts my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Now, I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending be despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which so pierces mercy itself and frees all faults. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free.